up because there are no other questions in the room, and Chaffee County has been such a wonderful county in terms of your innovation. You've been awarded on your commitment to the arts and your schools, the best program.
I'm like you, I don't favor a universal ban against hydraulic fracking, but there are some concerns I have about it, and I'm wondering if there's anything in the legislature this year. The two concerns that I really have are any initiative to restrict local control or local control of how fracking is done, and then second, re-injection of fracking fluid.
We need stronger oversight over spills and emissions and the use of water. 80% of operations now are recycling their water. So in terms of this massive commitment when water is so precious, and we are finding that recycling is using less fresh water than they have in the past. And then the ability to clean that water and totally protect the groundwater. That first 500, 700 feet, double casings, to do ultrasound testing on the cement casing. It is absolutely critical we protect the groundwater.
We have launched an endeavor to entice CSU to come to our valley and create higher education in our valley. And I guess all I would ask from the state is some type of support for that. I think we've got a number of very, very good liberal arts colleges around us, but we do not necessarily have a college of natural resources, which is what we are all about in this valley.
So you're obviously bringing together the U.S. Forest Service and now the commitment from Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and working on an opportunity to expand the educational opportunities. Will continue to support that. I don't want to forget our neighbor to the west, Western Colorado, Western State Colorado University. And I want to acknowledge that they do have capability in this area, and I will stay in communication with them to see how they might be partners as well in bringing education on natural resources.
And I've been reading in the papers and hearing on the news recently that some people are attacking the idea of more than one internet provider being available. We do have fiber optics in here by one company. And the government putting a little money into that, us having that, is very important, I believe.
This is a geographic divide that our main streets, our businesses, Mount Princeton, Monarch, suffer when we don't have adequate connectivity. And my understanding, it takes the equivalent of about $20,000 a month to connect that hospital. But when there's a line cut over by Pueblo, and we don't have redundancy in this valley, it's a crime. And I was having a little debate at the mic one day in front of the Senate chamber, and one of my colleagues came up to the mic, and I'm fighting about opportunities for broadband connectivity for our schools, our hospitals, our main streets. And he said to me, you know, actually, you decided to live up there with those views and next to those streams. Maybe you just don't need to have broadband. My response was, you decided to live someplace without a lot of water. So maybe you just don't need a lot of water. So we'll keep our water, you keep your broadband. So my response is, let's have a Colorado solution. Let's work together, give people the flexibility, the resources, the opportunities. So what I'm trying to do is one, identify resources, commit them, and identify the underserved areas, and have a real measure for competition.
Could you update us on gun control legislation, especially in regards to banning semi-automatics and high-capacity magazines? So
there are no specific bills relative to that at this time. I think we're beginning that conversation. My position, it always has been, and you can look at my voting record, strong supporter and defender of the Second Amendment rights. So just putting that on the table. I have always been supported, but I believe in having registration for concealed carry, and we keep that registration in place. But what is being discussed is one universal background checks. Right now, about 40% of guns are being bought over the internet or direct sale. We closed the gun show loophole in Colorado, but it shouldn't be about where you buy your gun, if you should have a background check. It should be, everyone should be subject to it. So we make sure that we have a system in place that talks about responsible gun ownership, and that people, in fact, are buying those guns, and go through a background check. Right now, the state actually pays for those background checks.
You know, everybody's talking about legislation, restriction. How about some education? And back when I was a kid, we had hunter safety, we had education on that. I grew up military, a lot of education. You know, I lived in Germany for a number of years, and over in Germany, you can't even carry a weapon until you pass certain, the club, you join a club, a shooting club, in order to hunt, in order to own a weapon. And Germany, as you know, Germany is a very populated country. They still hunt, they still have weapons over there. You can't even carry a weapon for up to 2 years until you learn the process of handling that weapon, taking care of all the safety that goes along with it. What to do when you're crossing a fence, for example, what to do with that weapon when you're crossing a fence. We don't have anything like that here. You know, it's America, home and free. Go out to Walmart and buy a gun, and, you know, then what do you do? Nobody knows. They learn from the television what you do with a gun, and that's not right. You know, my dad taught me, his dad taught him. I teach my son. You know, we don't have that so much anymore. So we need to do community classes and learn about these things, because a weapon is a tool. It's just like a hammer. A hammer will kill just as fast as a gun with a bullet. So.
Yeah. No, JT, that's a great insight, and there are not a lot of things that we do that we are required a permit for that we don't have a test. I don't know if you're a driver or a teacher, or, you know, the list goes on and on. So I think that's a really constructive suggestion.
Even though most people probably would label me a liberal hippie, I agree that, you know, that Second Amendment rights need to be protected. And I think as far as misuse of guns, what really needs to be paid attention to and really funded is mental health, and, you know, attention to these people that are really needing that support. And that's all I want to say, but also thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, thank you. And I think that the mental health issue is absolutely a priority. The governor, we're seeing, I don't know exactly the figure, I want to say it's $10 to $20 million that will support mental health efforts in our state.